Hey, buds. Welcome to the Fantasy Buds podcast. It's your host, Brian Gold.
Mark Letrio.
And I'm Tim Stewart.
And if you want to follow us on social media, you can go to the link tree in the description below and follow us on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. We are back. It's the Fantasy Buzz podcast.
I'm going to die on the fuck Nico Collins train.
I'm 4-0. Mark's 3-1. Tim 1-3.
Look, I'll take 3-1.
What's your record in free agency?
2-2.
2-2.
I'm 2-2 also.
I was 0-3, and now I completely ass blasted Luca's brother, and I'm now 1-3.
There we go.
Almost a 200 burger on him.
Well, he goes, Blaze, fight back.
Yeah, dude, he did not fight back at all.
You know when you're asking somebody to fight back, you're having a good week.
Yeah,
this week.
because I was up by 100 like the whole day,
and you're like, please score points on me.
I was like, go ahead and try and outscore me, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt good because I got shit on for being 0-3. I got all the flack.
Yep.
But
Well, dude, I mean, how about Luca's about to be 4-0, and he played a team that had 70 points this week.
fuck him.
But yeah, fuck him for that.
Mickey Mouse ring.
I scored 120 and still got blown out in a 14-team league.
And I thought me and Max had a bad week.
Like,
No, Luca and Cam had a fucking horrible week.
just a shit off for them.
Absolute shit off. Just
Cam
like
has an awful team
Cam's team is so fucking bad.
in this league.
and then
Like an absolutely awful fucking team.
I have hope, though. I have hope that I'm going to pull it together because Jonathan Taylor's coming back. And he's supposedly going to play for the Colts.
I mean,
So,
everybody's in it. I think everybody's in it until the last week. You're never out
would
of
agree
it.
with that. Yep.
Like things can turn around very quickly. Like 2-0 teams are probably.
I mean, you started 0-3 last year, didn't you? And then you wound up winning the championship?
I was 1-3,
1-3. Okay.
and then I went on
Yeah.
to complete the run. How about your fucking take yesterday with Derrick Henry?
Yeah, thanks
Like,
for
all
that.
right, this
Tim.
was in live time.
So those of you that don't know, so we have multiple group chats with multiple groups, and in the one group chat, our TJ League, I said, "Wow," no, I'm sorry, I said it in the podcast group chat. I said, "You know what? I think Derrick Henry might be done. I think he might be washed." 5 minutes later, 30-yard touchdown.
I was there watching the red zone, and
Like-
I was playing against Derrick Henry.
And he just
Yeah, and
skirted on
not
it.
only a 30-yard touchdown, but he then proceeds to pass for a touchdown.
Like a Keenan Allen game.
I mean, hey, look, I have him in my one league, so I'll take 22 attempts for 122 yards and a touchdown.
We were
any day
talking
of the
about
week.
selling him
Yeah,
a couple episodes ago.
Well, this is the thing. If he did that against the Bengals, really are the last hard run defense he has. From here on out, the run defense is relatively easy for him. It's just a matter of the Titans, I guess, finally decided to stop tightening. And we're like, I don't know if it's the fact that they all walked in and just saw Derrick Henry sitting in his locker room and Ryan Tannehill was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And then they just started using him or what? But like,
They were like, oh, yeah, we have Ryan Tannehill.
like he just walks into the
quarterbacking.
locker room like, who the fuck are you? And then it was like, oh, shit, that's right. You're our franchise running back. Like,
Yeah, let's feed you the fucking ball.
I'll tell you what, though, the rest of that offense is just miserable. The Titans.
Like, they've never been sexy. Like, ever since they got rid of A.J. Brown, it's just been
yeah.
Derrick Henry.
I mean, we made a bet at the beginning of the year, Tim and I, and we both look awful.
It's
right now. Like
man.
about
On which one?
We made a bet about Calvin Ridley versus
DeAndre
Hopkins.
So
And, I
that's-
mean, Ridley has been better, but it's almost like at this point you're comparing.
That's what I wanted to get into. So, are you Billy Joeling from these fucking players?
I'm definitely
moving out?
I'm definitely not moving out on Calvin Ridley. I think that the talent is there, and if like a player is talented, I think they can get it done. And the Jags offense as a whole has started pretty fucking slow. I would say that they've been pretty disappointing. So especially if you spent a high pick on Trevor Lawrence, you probably have a bad team right now.
Well, that was what the whole argument on my side, I guess me and Tim's side, was I think he's going to have a tough time readjusting back into NFL game speed. Now, there was all that hype in the preseason, and then he had a stellar week one, and everybody was running to the bank. And then the last, you were like, Calvin Ridley, wide receiver
I hope
one.
you guys drafted Ridley, bitches.
Yeah, and then
meanwhile,
just dog.
Dog. Yep. So I'm not like giving up on the Hopkins thing, but I will say I'm nowhere near as high as I was on it. I think the only way this fully turns around is if Ryan Tannehill is not the quarterback. It's seeing as how they're what? I think they're 2-2 now, right?
I think they're 2-2. Yeah,
They're 2-2.
Blew out the Bengals.
He's not going to get benched. So as far as I'm concerned, the only one that I would even really want on that team would be Derrick Henry. If you have anybody else, I am so sorry.
I think it'll get better for Hopkins, but they have to give him 13 targets, 15 targets.
But that's what I'm
it's at the
saying.
point where,
I
like-
think with Derrick Henry there, you're just not going to get that.
I mean, it's at the point, at least like Ridley, I can kind of give it to him. He's got a ton of mouths to feed there. Like, I have Hopkins in a league too, don't get me wrong. And like, Hopkins got outperformed by Nick Westbrook-Akine yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, this is what, and it's
Like, are you kidding me?
Like, come the fuck on. And I don't know. Like, it's.
But that's the thing, though, is it's not even Hopkins, because when you watch, like, Hopkins is getting open. Like, he's beating the corners he's facing. It's just Ryan Tannehill, I guess, is just blind past 10 yards. Like,
I mean, to be honest, that's kind of how I feel with Ridley also. But, I mean, Trevor Lawrence has not been good. So I want to see end of the year last year, Trevor Lawrence with this offense. And I think if we get to see that at some point this year, and Doug, we talked about this briefly before the show. Doug Peterson is no stranger to slow starts.
Yep.
Now, like,
As a coach,
we experienced this with the Eagles. I mean, it felt like every single year it was
team would start off like shit.
1-2, 2-2, 2-3, like,
And then the offense would look like shit the first.
and then we just turn it on at the end of the season and go on a magical run. Like, it's cute,
But it gets annoying after a while.
it's annoying after a while, and it's not really sustainable. So, like,
I do like Calvin Ridley as a buy low.
I think he is in the. Well, this is what I was talking about in the preseason. I could see him being the guy where he's going to be on a lot of struggling teams because he's going to start off slow, and somebody's going to, like a playoff team, is going to go and buy him low, and it's going to put them over the top by the end of the season. That's the kind of route I see for. It was like Hopkins last year.
Yeah.
No teams couldn't hold on to him after the 6 game
couldn't
suspension.
afford it
Just couldn't
anymore.
afford it anymore.
I mean, I'm definitely not getting rid of Ridley. I'm still going to hold on to him. But if you're in a, like, I'm fortunate in my dad's league to where, like, 50% of the people that I drafted with had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, really, besides like me, my dad, and like two of my cousins, I have the luxury of where I have like Marquise Brown, Devon Achane, all those guys on the bench. And so it's like, I have Chris Godwin on the bench. Like, I have all these guys on the bench to where I can afford to have Ridley, and I have Hopkins in that place too. So I'm not going to get rid of him, because worst comes to worst, I could just bench him and put in one of those other guys, because I'm not going to sell him. There's no way, because he's not going to be this bad. It might be one of those things where Doug Peterson, we know, gets off to slow starts. We've seen it firsthand.
And he'll
And then they
most
get it
likely
together.
turn it around.
Yeah,
So it's
I
like-
don't think it's worth it to sell Ridley right now.
not yet.
Yeah, it's only been 4 games, but not too stellar.
But I mean, like, if you are 0-3 or 1-3, 0-4 at this point, I get it could be tough holding on to him, but
Yeah, especially if you get offered a pretty solid deal. That
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you might have some douchebag like me who's willing to overpay for because like they were so high on him. But look, I mean, I said a little bit too. I thought Ridley's type was getting a little out of control.
Yeah.
During the summer, like when we first threw like our MVP ideas together, Ridley was going like the 5th, 6th round. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a fucking like, this is like
Slam
the biggest
dunk.
deal. This is a slam dunk. By the end, he's almost going in the 2nd round
Yep.
by the end of
Which
by September, which
It's almost fucking insane.
at that point, yeah. So he almost has to finish in the top 10 to pay off your investment, and
Yeah.
he certainly could. I think he has the talent, but there's just so many good receivers now that I feel like it's hard for him.
Well,
It's
see-
just going to be hard for him to finish in the top 10 now. Top 20 is definitely doable. Maybe the top 15, but the top 10, I don't know if I see anymore.
Well, that's my whole thing, to where it's like, I don't know if anybody else does, but I really don't take training camp that much into account, because at the end of the day, you're lining up against the same people the entire time.
yeah.
Who do the Jags have at corner that was going to cover Calvin? It's different when you go to Garrett Wilson, because he's being covered by arguably a top 3 corner in the league every time he goes up to run a route, pretty much. So that's for me. I don't take training camp into account too much, unless it's like, Garrett Wilson with Sauce Gardner, Justin Jefferson. It doesn't matter who the hell's covering them. Like,
maybe we should stop listening to training camp.
I think all training camp does is, unless there's a good corner matched up against that wide receiver, I don't trust it.
A lot of it is just smoke too. Like I was hearing all summer how the Commanders were going to use the fuck out of Antonio Gibson as this multi-talented lineup all over the field weapon, and he gets 4 touches a game.
Yep. Speaking of weapons, how about Kyle Pitts now?
Kyle Pitts.
At this point, I think you got to move on.
I'm ready to move on. The dream is dead.
Like, we haven't seen it at all. Like, at all.
Like, ever. I mean, he did have a historic rookie season for a tight end,
and it was mid.
It was mid, but for a tight end, it was pretty damn good. Sam Laporta, maybe he'll beat that this year. But,
maybe, but even Sam Laporta, he's not explosive.
No,
but you're not seeing that out of any of these guys. So I don't think we even should have to spend that much time on it. Like, it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's dead.
It's just dead.
The other day, I saw a tweet, and it was, Kyle Pitts has not had over 16 points since his rookie season in fantasy.
And, like, he's still been going, like, round 5+.
Like, that's unreal.
It's because of the potential.
Yeah. And
everybody sits there and goes, what if he plays like he did his rookie year and I get him in the 6th round? That's what it is.
It's kind of turning into, like, Jerry Jeudy, where you're drafting him based on Alabama. You're drafting Kyle Pitts
Dobbins
based on Florida, and it's just not. College is different. I mean, look at Bryce Young right now.
I don't even think. To be fair, I don't think it's his fault. I think the Falcons are just a shit show.
But we say that, but then Jonnu Smith had like 7 catches yesterday.
That's true.
So is it Ritter? Is it the game plan?
I think he just needs to get out of Atlanta.
Like, I mean, how long can we keep saying Kyle Pitts just can't get it done? Like, it's the quarterback. Like, eventually, I mean, you can't get outperformed by Jonnu Smith.
No.
Yeah, do you know what I'm talking about?
Jonnu Smith probably wasn't even drafted.
And it's just a bad look for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah,
I'm dropping him.
I was going to say, I didn't even invest in waivers. Yeah, I didn't get him anywhere. I didn't invest in the Falcons anywhere. I got Bijan in one league. And that was it.
He's the only one, the only bright spot about the Falcons, really.
I mean, you could do what I do and trade him. So,
how about Pat Freiermuth? I'm sure you want to get rid of him.
Oh my fucking god! Holy fucking
Jesus Christ!
At this point, I would pick up Kyle Pitts and start him just to bench Pat Freiermuth.
You would play Kyle Pitts over Pat Freiermuth?
Yeah, because at least I know I'm getting 4 points. Freiermuth, I don't know what I'm getting.
The Steelers are
0,
miserable.
5,
they are miserable,
10.
dude.
I hate it.
They've fallen. The Steelers have fallen a long way from Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, here's the thing.
Long gone, dude.
Well, here's the thing. Did anything come out about Pickett's injury? Like, is it?
Yeah, so he avoided a serious injury, but he's going to miss time.
I figured that. So who's their backup now? Is it still Trubisky?
Oh, fuck. I don't
think it is.
Who cares?
I mean, at this point.
Well, because
I think it might be Mason Rudolph still.
Like,
if it's Mason Rudolph, then I actually like Freiermuth because he actually used the tight end.
I mean, I will say that just the whole offense, Matt Canada, just the weapons, it's miserable.
Najee Harris,
like,
just
holy
trash.
hell.
Like, now, apparently, the Steelers are now in talks for trading for Jonathan Taylor. For the love of God, please don't let that happen. I will jump off my roof.
To be honest, I will say I think
I never thought I would see the day where the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns switched places.
They did.
They really
like
did.
Pittsburgh is now where careers go to die.
That's what I was
like. Can I be honest too? I think Kenny Pickett fucking sucks.
Oh, he's terrible.
I'm just gonna be honest.
He had one highlight in college where he fake slid for a touchdown, and everybody was like, "Oh, yep, look at that, Joe Montana."
I just don't really think Kenny Pickett is anything
He's
special.
Really not.
He wears 2 gloves. That was the first red flag.
His hands are too small.
This is why I didn't really love anybody in the Steelers. Like, I only really, I wasn't really loving their offense this season.
It's just so
And
fucking.
It's anemic, and
They're stiff.
they're stiff and anemic.
From here on out, let's just plan it. The only thing that you should draft from Pittsburgh, if you have the draft, is their defense. That's it. Nothing else.
Yeah,
their
that's it.
defense has
That's
even
it.
been shit so far.
Well,
I mean, their defense,
Yet
their
again,
defense got
but
lit the hell up yesterday.
Yet again, I also can't blame them because they're on the field for the majority of the game, so I can't really blame them. I mean,
But
you,
yeah,
you can't get blown out by Houston.
No,
I am completely.
That's horrible.
But Houston has been quite a surprise.
I am off
How about
any Steeler.
Yeah, I'm off any Steeler. The surprise of Jahmyr Gibbs like just not being used at all too.
I'm not surprised about this.
Like, are you?
I'm
like,
not
trying
surprised
to
at all.
move
They
him?
paid David Montgomery.
I wasn't
neither.
a fan of Jahmyr Gibbs at all coming in, and I had to hear it from Tiny and Matt, the whole stuff about how stupid I was and about how he was going to be top 5 because of all the receptions. And I just, Dan Campbell.
Third round.
Dan Campbell likes these bruiser running backs. This is the kind of offense Dan Campbell wants to run. He wants to wear you down. He wants to bite your kneecaps.
Well, that's what
he
the
wants.
owners
Exactly.
also want. Like, they
Yeah.
don't give a fuck about your fantasy
They
team.
don't.
They're going to feed the guy that they're paying. Because it's
Exactly.
all about money at the
It's
end of the
like,
day,
yes, they did
unfortunately.
pay
It's
him.
like what Luka and Nick said at the draft. Follow the money.
It
If
is.
they pay a guy, they're gonna use him.
And Jahmyr Gibbs looks very, very good when he touches the ball. So I'm not denying he's a good player and he
It's
has
just
the talent to
who's
get it
gonna
done.
fucking use him.
But
Yeah.
the thing is like you drafted a guy in the 3rd round for 8 touches a game.
Yep.
Yeah, and maybe he turns it on towards the end of the season, but
You're
like I
probably
said,
bad at that
it's
point.
another Calvin Ridley situation where you're going to find yourself in a hole and you got to probably move on from these guys, and then you're going to give them to a playoff team, and they're going to turn it on around playoff time, and that's what creates championship teams.
Look, I will say I really don't understand why. I do understand what the Lions want to do with David Mock, with a kind of almost a smash and dash routine.
Oh,
with,
yeah.
with a Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara
Well, it's smart
kind of thing.
football-wise.
It's very smart. But why take a guy number 12 for that?
I don't even.
Why take him 12?
Goodness.
Beep.
Beep.
Jesus Christ.
We are back.
Yep.
Just some technical difficulties. No worries.
Sorry, we just beat the shit out of our producer.
We took Chris and threw him through the window.
Just threw him out the window, threw him downstairs. But anyway, we are back, and I want to talk about some teams who we think can come back, or can they come back from our 2 leagues that we're all in together, TJ and free agency. We can start off with TJ. Big B is 0-3.
Oh, God.
Down 30 with Tyler Lockett left tonight, but he's facing 0-4. His team is fucking horrible.
I think Big B needs to make a trade.
I think he does need to make a trade.
I think he needs to make a trade.
He's not going to though. That's
and
the
he's not
thing.
going to.
He's not going to. I think he's going to stay put.
He's going to stay put. And
Like, I would be moving Cooper Kupp if I'm in this situation.
I think you almost, so I was actually going to bring this up earlier. If you're maybe 1-3, 0-4, are you moving Cooper Kupp? Because you probably, if you pick Cooper Kupp, more than likely, you're probably suffering right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially in the first round,
you
'cause
can't
that's
win.
tough.
You can't win a league in the first, but you can lose it. And if your first round pick does not play,
It's tough. It's tough to bounce back from, man.
then when your next 4 picks, 2 were running backs
And they haven't done
who
shit.
have been disappointing. I mean, his second pick was AJ Brown, which is awesome.
Awesome.
But like,
ETN and Mixon were values, but they've just been dog water. And that's why I'm like, why even invest in running back anymore?
it's really not. It's really not worth it. Meanwhile, Kyron Williams
And Raheem Mostert and
and-
Devon A-Chain.
are the fucking RB1, 3, and 4. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
gosh, I don't even know what H. Devon A-Chain is the running back 2 after 2 weeks
Jesus Christ.
of playing. This is how bad the running back position is.
yeah.
Now.
Like, are you kidding me?
And like these guys weren't drafted at all. Well, A-Chain probably was, but Kyron Williams more often than not probably was not drafted.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy's outperforming Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb is, injury. Poor Nick Chubb. Ramondre Stevenson. These guys were all picked to probably the second round.
Yeah,
Maybe
dude.
third round.
It's
Josh
been-
Jacobs.
it's been not looking good for the running backs, and it's also not looking good for our good friend Brandon.
Yeah, it's
Who's
not looking
overseas
good
right now.
at all for him either. The Brandons are struggling.
The Brandons are struggling. Brandon is 0-4, and
I thought Brandon's team looked really good too coming into the
it's.
year.
I'm telling you right now, it's Burrow and Chase.
It's exactly what it is.
I mean,
What the fuck is wrong with Cincinnati?
Ridley. I have no fucking.
Like-
clue. I think Joe Burrow's still hurt. Honestly,
He's got to be because like you don't just go from being so great to miserable in one summer.
like Devonta Smith and Kenneth Walker have been great, but Ridley and Chase and Burrow have been so mid.
yeah,
And Pacheco and Moss are like, they're hit or miss.
he needs a running back. I think Brandon needs to move one of his receivers for a running back upgrade.
Yeah.
He won't.
He won't because, and this is the thing. A lot of people in this league are pretty stubborn with trading.
Like they'll just die on their.
like
Well,
they'll
it's not
just
even
their
that they're
island.
stubborn. It's that everybody tries to fleece everyone.
yeah. Like
That's what it is.
Nobody will do if a trade is even because usually if a trade is even,
It can go either way.
it can go either way, and nobody wants to do that. They all want it's gonna go my way. Pretty
Like
and
clearly, like clear
it's gonna
cut.
clearly go my way,
Yep.
and I think if he doesn't make a trade, it's not gonna get better for him because I mean Joe Burrow and Chase can turn it around, but like you can't have Pacheco and Moss. That's your
Yeah.
running back. He does have Ken Walker too, but again, Ken Walker banged up all summer. Honestly,
He's been good though.
he has been good so far.
He's still playing tonight, and he can go off, but it's not going to save.
But again, like he's almost Ken Walker if he's not scoring, he's not really doing anything for you.
That's the thing that would make me uneasy about running backs.
Yeah,
in
like-
fantasy. If they're depending on scoring to do anything.
And Ken Walker is good, but at the end of the day, week 1, no touchdowns, 10 points. That's fine. But week 2, 2 touchdowns, 18 points, but 43 yards off 17 rushes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
this week,
touchdown.
2 touchdowns. But that's why he had 29 points. He had 3 catches this week for 59 yards, 18 catches, 97 yards. That's a good game for him. He's a good player, but I don't think he's like an RB1 in fantasy,
No.
like a legit solidified. Like I think he's touchdown dependent.
and yeah, I think Brandon can turn it around, but he has to make a trade.
Yeah, because I do think Ridley can turn it around, and Chase definitely can turn
Like,
it around.
Big B and Brandon both have the pieces, but they need to make a trade,
They
and
need
not
to
just
move some things around.
trade to trade, but like fill other needs by giving up a player you're connected
Yeah.
to. How about Tim?
Tim and
Was that a beep?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I think we're good. Yeah, because I'm at the lead. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Tim and TJ.
Yeah, Tim and TJ.
Oh, it's a struggle, boss man.
Let's go
Like,
look
oh,
at
man.
Oh,
I will
my
say
God.
this: my team has been.
Oh
I
my
caught your
God.
fucking injury bug this year.
Holy fucking hell, dude.
I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Jordan Love and Aaron Jones, and then he's got Mike Thomas and Keenan. Or
All right,
no, Mike Thomas
First of
and
all,
Kamara.
Tim made a trade this week, and
Oh, no.
I just wasn't really like too sure about it.
I literally
really
asked you
wasn't.
guys, and you said do it.
I did not say do it.
Posting the receipts later.
I did not. I would never be on board to trade. We're echoing.
It's delayed.
Delayed. That was a beep.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
We're back.
We are back. We're just having some technical difficulties. That's
Yeah,
all.
we had to go grab Chris from the basement, bring him back
Yeah.
up. have
This
him
time
fix
we
it, throw
actually
him back down there again.
We actually lit Chris on fire. This
Yeah,
time.
broke his legs.
He's tied to a chair
All right,
in the
but-
basement.
My team, I have no idea. So the trade that I made, I got rid of Garrett Wilson, my fantasy darling, because Zach Wilson can't hit the broadside of a barn.
oh, yeah.
I traded, what did I got rid of? I got rid of him and Chris Godwin, who was doing nothing all year. Of course, now he decides to do something, but
Yeah.
Mike Evans went down. So I traded Garrett Wilson and Chris Godwin, and I got Alexander Madison and Mike Thomas. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, I needed a running back.
But, like, my
because
problem
Aaron
with it
Jones is
is, like,
struggling.
Now you have Tim does have Alvin Kamara too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
now
the
you have
thing is-
two Saints, 2 Packers.
Oh, no matter what, I'm probably getting rid of Aaron Jones. Like I'm definitely going to trade Aaron Jones to try to get an upgraded wide receiver because I do believe in Kamara and Madison. My whole thing is that it's just the injury bug killed me this year,
Oh my God,
dude.
you have 3 Steelers.
Oh, well, yeah.
I know they're on your bench, but
half of them are getting dropped. Yeah, it's like I said, dude, the injury bug, dog. The injury bug has killed me
Jake
this year.
Ferguson's actually been pretty good.
The injury bug this year has absolutely murked my ass.
Tim's team right now is Keenan Allen.
And that's it.
And Kamara. It's Keenan Allen.
Kamara's back.
It's Keenan Allen and Kamara versus the world, baby.
Oh, God. You know what? God be with you, sir.
Let's wish Tim luck.
I'm
You
gonna
think
wish
that
Tim
God
luck.
stays in heaven because he too is afraid of what he's created?
Yeah. And then in free agency, real quick, I'm 0-3. I'm now 1-3. I think I'm back. I think I'm back in business. I can
think
turn
you're
this
back.
around. Well, I mean, if A-Chain is as good as he is,
You need A-Chain to save you.
Yeah.
A-Chain, I think he can save me. Maybe Joe Mixon turns it around. I think Josh Allen is going to be the stud.
Yep.
Kelsey, Nakua is legit. And Brandon Ayuk and Nico Collins have been very stellar for me. So
You have a lot of receivers, so maybe you can move one and get a running back upgrade.
I think I can. Maybe I could package Joe Mixon. And
yeah,
just-
because you got
you probably
Marquise
could.
Brown just on your bench too.
Yeah, and it's like I kind of don't want to start any of those guys over what I got. So, and then Cam's team,
Oh, miserable.
miserable. He's not turning it around.
It's
He's
absolutely miserable.
dog water, dude. He's got T. Higgins, who's now hurt, and I think he's going to be in trouble with that. Joe Burrow's been stinking. A.J. Dillon stinks. Gabe Davis stinks.
Just a deep threat.
T.J. Hawkinson, he's not going to save you.
No.
Tyler Algier, Christian Watson, Alan Lazard, Rashad Bateman. Pack it in, Cam. I think it's
Cam
over for
started Bijan at Algier.
you. Even though I just got my first win this week, your team does not
Hey.
look good.
I'm looking at this way in free agency. I'm 2-2, and for the past 3 weeks, I've had to fucking start Elijah Dotson. And he's gotten back-to-back goose eggs. And somehow I'm 2-2. So
Yeah,
I'll take
I don't know
that with
how.
Jonathan Taylor coming back. Oh, I know how. It's Tyreek Hill.
Well, true,
That's
yeah.
exactly how.
He just wins you games.
Can I be honest, dude? Max's team is fucking horrific.
Yeah, Max's
It's the
team
two
is
tight ends,
bad.
dude.
I think there's a chance Max wins one game or 2
Yeah, and
games
it's going to be me because he beat me.
this year. Like, it's a bad team. Like, it's Lamar
I get him
Jackson.
next week.
It's Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
The rest of these guys aren't even. I mean, James Conner's good, but the fact you're starting Devin Singletary
Yeah,
alone,
that's
the
bad.
fact
Devin
that he's
Singletary.
rostered alone, and let
Devin
alone
Singletary,
starting.
Jerry Jeudy, and Van Jefferson. Oh my god.
Just Van Jefferson, another guy who shouldn't even be rostered.
Oh, well, he's
Fuck that.
screwed next week. Because I'm convinced this is the phasing out of Van Jefferson starts next week when Cup comes back.
So to be honest, I think he's already been phased out completely. Van Jefferson,
That's what I'm
like,
saying. I think he's
done nothing.
I think it's curtains now because he's in Cup's spot, and they're not going to get rid of Nakua.
well, I get it, and again, Max has Cooper Cup,
Yeah, that's true.
and
It's the same thing.
it's just
sinking your season.
But now he's 0-4. Well, like, do you trade Cup when the rest of your team is so awful at that point? Like,
I think if you have Cooper Cup, at this point, and you don't have a win, you got to trade him. You got to do something. Because pretty much what you would
Yeah.
need is him to not get re-injured with a
Save face.
hamstring that's been lingering for the past year and a half. So odds are he'll probably wind up pulling it again sometime this year. You have to try to get rid of him because if you're 0-4, you're pretty much like, all right, that's it.
You're
I
facing
have
down
to
the
win.
barrel.
Like you're literally staring down the barrel of the gun. You have to start winning games. If you go 0-6, you're basically done.
You're done. To be even 0-5 is almost a death
That's
sentence.
what I'm saying.
Like,
So
you
it's
need to
like-
start winning.
Like that's why you make a couple moves. It's not over,
Yeah, it's
but
not
you need
over.
to start piling it together.
That's why, like, if I am Big B or Max or anybody who has Cooper Cup, I would see what you can get for him. You'll be able to get enough just off of the name alone, but you gotta get something going, man.
Max has got to do something, or
Like,
he's last in the league
he's toasted.
this year. Like, I think if he doesn't do anything, he's going to be last.
Yeah. Well, I think we had a solid day today, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Covered a lot of topics.
We got to go get Chris out of the basement. So.
Yeah, we gotta go pick him up and bring him back to consciousness.
You got to make sure he's breathing. So,
Yep.
Jesus Christ. It's just.
Now we can get out of here.
Now
There we go.
we're good.
Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys next week.